A dirt road leads to a tent city in the woods near the small New Jersey town of Lakewood. 5 years ago, a handful of people who had first lost their jobs and then their homes started to set up camp here, supported by a local pastor. Since the start of the recession, the camp has grown to 70 residents, 2/3 of them men and about 15 women. Marilyn Berensweig and her husband Michael were forced to move to the camp a year ago. She used to work as a successful fabric designer in New York, making $100,000 a year until her job was outsourced and her company closed. Her husband was a radio reporter, but was laid off as well.
You know, it's very hard. I guess looking back, I guess I should have started retraining in another career 10 years ago. You know, the writing was kind of on the wall, but I kind of thought it would last out my time. I didn't realize it would get so bad. The economy here is just dreadful. So there really isn't much out there for us because we're kind of too old to retrain. I'm nearly 61, Michael's 62. You know, companies aren't interested in someone of that age to retrain, and so we're stuck. We're too young for Social Security and too old to get another kind of job than what we were used to.
In the United States, seniors are eligible for Social Security starting at the retirement age of 65. When Marilyn and her husband were forced to leave their rental apartment, they were too ashamed to let their friends know.
A number of friends offered us some place to live. But, you know, it never works out with friends, you know. We tried living with our daughter and her family, and that didn't work out. So I wouldn't try that again. So, yes, some of them are horrified, absolutely horrified. We didn't tell anybody but my best friend, who's Chinese, before we came here. And I asked her to break the news to all our friends after we were gone.
The tent city is a desperate place, especially in the cold season. Residents try to support each other and pray together in a makeshift chapel. Pastor Steve Brigham has helped to set up the camp and has listened to the residents' sorrows for years.
Frustrations that the government is not doing something for them or not helping them after they've worked years and years and paid taxes into the system. And here they're in need of some help from the system, some help from the government. And the government's not there for them, and so yeah, it is frustrating. It's disappointing, to live in that type of a situation.
2 years ago, the pastor decided to live in the camp full time. His home is an old school bus that was donated to his church. Most of the food for the camp residents is donated as well. He and the camp residents point out that in rough economic times, more and more Americans might be forced out of their homes.
I mean, everybody goes, didn't you have savings? And to be honest with you, no, we didn't have much. You know, we were helping our family. But even if we'd saved a lot, if you don't work for 2 years, forget it, it's gone. You know, unless you're a millionaire, unless you really, have a lot of money. So a lot of Americans are in debt. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. As jobs disappear and industries close down, they're going to have to rethink how they live their lives.
The tent city residents do their best to keep at least some dignity. In the meantime, the township of Lakewood has sued the residents in an attempt to force them off the piece of public land they now call their home. The lawsuit is pending.